Okay, I think we're good to go.
Alrighty, you're listening to Camp Student Radio. This is the Camp Interview Series, and today I, Sophia Troetel, am interviewing.
Hi, I'm Alex Scherotter. I'm currently the jazz music director here at Camp. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get right into it. So, I wanted to ask, what are you currently studying here at the University of Arizona?
So right now I am a design arts and practice major with a minor in mechanical engineering. It's kind of been moving around because had a little change of pace. Didn't want to go fully engineering, so we're in kind of a little bit more arts-based design now, which is more fun.
And what direction has your major and minor taken you in these past couple of years at the university?
So I've been really math focused, and I took differential equations, and I kind of realized I did not want to be doing it anymore. I realized this is going to be the basis of most of what I'm going to be doing. It's so important, and I'm not only not good at it, I don't find it interesting, and I find it unintuitive, and I was like, this isn't really what I'm looking for, so I'm going to move into this more art-based, which kind of aligns with a bunch of my personal projects that I've been going through right now, which is trying to be more part of kind of local community, trying to find things that are happening and be a part of them.
Do you have some examples of these projects you're currently working on?
Yeah, one thing is I've been trying to become more of a part of the BCC, which is a local community center, Blackledge Community Center. It's pretty cool. They do a lot of cool programs. Recently I did a printmaking workshop where I learned how to do full screen printing from start to finish, how to clean the screens, how to burn screens.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool. I got my own little like kind of patch that I had fully pressed the ink through, and it's interesting and it's fun, and I've just kind of grown to find that one of the things I found really important is a sense of community around me. And I want to have something that exists around me even when I leave school.
Is that part of the reason you decided to commit to the university? Because of how large it is, student groups that exist here?
No, actually, I wanted to get out of California, to be quite honest, which is a sentiment I know a lot of Californians share. Is it's kind of expensive, and my dad had gone here, and there's just a good, it's kind of a pretty area. I love the architecture of University of Arizona, the brick building.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like so historic. It's just beautiful. You feel like you're transported to a different era completely.
And the other thing is that the brick buildings, I've seen brick buildings in other places, they look kind of bad. They look amazing in the desert.
I know.
They go great in the desert. If there's one thing I would say maybe a little bit less of, it's nice, I like the grass, but it feels a little out of the place.
No, because the mall, I feel so bad for her when she gets like completely ripped up by people and they have to like reseed it every couple of weeks. But no, I love the brick. It's very historic, and it has this sort of like uniformity to it when you're walking around. You feel like you're on a campus. It's not just a mishmash of buildings and like a hodgepodge. You feel like you're part of a community. And speaking of community, we know each other through camp.
Oh yeah.
So I would like to ask how you found your way to camp and how was your first involvement with camp?
So for me, my involvement in camp started back last spring, spring semester. It was a club fair, so it was around this time of year. And I was walking by the club fair. I was like, I don't really know any clubs I'd want to join. And I got a CD thrown at me. I was like, you know what? Radio, that sounds like a good time. And I wanted just kind of a way to, I'm sometimes bad at communicating, just like talking in general with my parents. Like, this is also a good way to share without the commitment of having to go to a full-on phone conversation and talk about things I don't really want to talk about.
Exactly. I feel like the vibe of camp is like they won't pick up a phone call from a stranger, but they'll do like an hour radio segment. And it's like those are our kind of people. So I wanted to ask what your journey was like to becoming camp music director of jazz.
So it's actually, it's very easy to become like a part of camp and become something that if you want to influence camp, it's really something that you can do if you feel like camp is important to you and it feels like something that you want to be a part of. You just can go do it. For me, it was 2 days before the applications were due, and someone said to me, Alex, you should apply. And I said, you know what? I'll apply for World and Jazz. I don't think anyone else is going to apply for World and Jazz. To be, it's just not music a lot of people listen to. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do World and Jazz, and I'm going to push jazz, and people are going to start listening to jazz. And that's just kind of how it happened.
I love that. Speaking of, what sparked your initial interest in jazz? Do you have any particular memories or moments of jazz in your life that were particularly influential to you?
So really before taking on the entire role of jazz director, the only jazz I really was a part of or listened to was, I did like middle school jazz band. That's the only thing. So I really did not even listen to jazz before I became the proper jazz director. And now I do, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. And there's so many gems to be found. And the spark for me was realizing that so many people's image of what jazz is to them is just completely different than what so many jazz artists are making today.
What do you think is the difference between people's perceptions of jazz and contemporary jazz?
So, perception of jazz right now is kind of a pretentious music genre. It's the genre that the old people are listening to and the music snobs are listening to.
The coffee shops are playing it.
The coffee shops are playing it. And it's just not something that's really... It's kind of hard to sit down for a 10-minute instrumental song. It's not really reasonable to expect everyone to be like, yeah, this is what I need. It's not always very catchy. A lot of the time, you'll enjoy the hook to the jazz song, and then you'll just kind of get lost in the rest of the song and be like, this is not really what I'm looking for. But with contemporary jazz artists, there's a lot of jazz fusion, and the floor for the music is a lot lower than a lot of other genres, because most people, at least attempting to get into jazz, have a really solid foundation in music, and when they incorporate these other structures and genres, it really can really help elevate it.
Do you think that this contemporary jazz can appeal to, young listeners, people in our generation?
Oh, easily. I mean, I've found so much stuff that people are like, wait, this is jazz? Like,
this is jazz?
This is jazz? Like, this is good. I like this.
I like jazz?
So I last semester, during a lot of my internships, one of the roles as a music director is you have people come in and they do a half-hour show, or they come learn how to work the board before they can have their own show. And a lot of the time I'll be playing jazz because that's what I try to play from the jazz stacks, because a little bit of
MD of jazz.
MD of jazz feels like it's my own little responsibility to play from the jazz stacks. But there's this one guy also named Alex, and I was like, you know what? I don't have anything right now to play. I'm gonna do your entire internship, play you a bunch of my modern jazz favorites. And he was like, this is crazy. And he's like, this is like something I've been missing. Like, it's one of the greatest things that people really enjoy is jazz and R&B fusion. They meld so well because they come from very similar roots, and they're both really
musically compatible.
They're really compatible, and they create really great pieces.
No, I can totally imagine, especially today on like TikTok with the sounds, people will take like a 90s R&B sound and mix it with something like contemporary, and people are like, oh my god, this is crazy. To think that like we can be doing that with completely different genres that are, quote unquote slept on or underground. So your show is a jazz show primarily, which is Sandwich on Sourdough.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell me the journey of hosting your own show and why you decided to name it that?
So I think when I joined, there was a bunch of other people to join. I think I was one. I did my internships fast and quick.
Me too.
I had my show within like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Yeah, I think I got, out of the group of people that joined me, I was the fastest one to get a show. Because I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna dawdle around. I joined for the radio. I want to play my stuff on the radio. And something that was a really big part of my routine for last year was whenever I lived, I came to campus for math early in the morning, so I needed to get breakfast. And Steak and Shake had which doesn't exist anymore.
Oh no, where was this?
This was in the Union, where the Indian place is now.
Oh!
So that used to be a Steak and Shake. Had a breakfast menu that barely anyone ordered off of. And they had a sausage, egg, and cheese on a biscuit. But the biscuit was dry and terrible and awful, because it's like, biscuits need to be in the right setting to be good.
So true.
One day, they didn't have a biscuit, and they were like, we could put it on our sourdough bread.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, this sandwich was crazy. I got that for breakfast 4 days a week for like the entire semester. It was so good. It was this crispy bread, it was savory, the sausage was good, the egg was good, the cheese was good. I love a good breakfast sandwich. That's what
No, so true, so true.
like, it's all you need. I've started making them myself at home with like English muffins, and
We love an English muffin.
I've come around to and you know what they are? They're sourdough English muffins.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So, self-fulfilling prophecy. Did not even realize. I'm back on the sandwich on sourdoughs for breakfast.
That.
And it's really good. Breakfast sandwiches just, they taste good. I don't know what about them, but the sausage patty with the cheese and a little bit of egg on just a sandwich, it's good.
Being from New York, let me tell you, breakfast sandwich culture runs deep. You have to have your bacon, egg, and cheese like every morning. It just fuels you. You're ready for your day. Not too heavy, not too greasy. You get the right sandwich and you can just like get all that energy for the day. It's just perfect. And your journey of hosting the show.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't too crazy. It was, I chose a name, I got in, and I started playing music. I played through alternative stuff, and I just kind of played through the giant catalog of music I'd been saving, and I hadn't been able to talk to anyone about for a while, because I was like, I just play my music. I don't talk to anyone about this. So I was like, just, let's enjoy it. And that was pretty much it. It wasn't anything too crazy. It was just playing music.
Do you come up with themed shows, or do you just go off the top of your dome, just feeling it like jazz?
For the most part, I try to kind of put a succinct, like, group together of something to, like, maintain a theme over a show. I've got this semester that has kind of, I've just kind of ran out of music that I want to play that I haven't already played on the radio from artists, because I'll play one thing from one artist and I'm like, but I want to play something from the same album, but I did that last week. And my music taste has really kind of shifted over the last year and a half, because I went down the rabbit hole, something shown to me by KAMP, of the album by Big Thief, Dragon, New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You. And that album was crazy, and it is just kind of stuck in my brain for the last year. It's still stuck in my brain. And I started getting into jazz, and so I just kind of started shifting away from like the alternative that I was listening to, and now I'm just kind of in this different place.
I love that. Speaking of having an album or a song that really just like, scratches your brain, what is your current favorite song or album that you've been listening to?
It's still the same album. I cannot.
The same album.
Me and my roommate Logwood, I don't know if he's still stuck. I am stuck. I cannot get out of this stupid album. It's folk, it's great, and it's really going hand in hand with I want to go take myself camping more often. Because it's really folky indie alternative, and I just want to be able to like go out whenever I want, and I want to go camping. Because it's the disconnect and not being able to like connect to a phone or connect to anything is so great for me. It just kind of, like, I know that sounds like so like
No, I feel you.
stereotypical, but just being out in nature with a fire, playing some music that is folky or jazzy is incredible. It's just so good, and it's why I'm really excited for our upcoming camping trip.
I am so excited as well.
Yeah.
I don't really go camping, but you know, it's time that this city girl gets outdoors. I was about to say, is there any particular track off of that album that really sticks with you as a listener?
So the two ones that I think I love the most is Change. I'm really bad at like listening to lyrics. My brain just kind of glazes over. But I'll learn them and I'll sing along to them and I'll be like, yeah, this is good. So it's Change and Simulation Storm, which are two great songs. They both kind of just show what the album is all about this folky, wonderful just great sound.
So they kind of, you feel, are representative of the album as a whole.
I think if you want to know what the rest of the album's going to feel like, you're going to like that. And I pretty much every person I've talked to who has listened to this album says it's just so good. It just hits.
I love that. No, being in camp has just been an incredible experience for me. I know everyone in camp really loves it. It's just, personally, you know, getting away from everything and it's just you and your music. There's just no other experience like it, you know?
What's your favorite part of camp then?
Oh, my favorite part of camp. I feel like Arizona has this reputation for having a lot of basic people, question mark. You know, a lot of people who dress the same, sound the same, have the same conversations. I was kind of looking for a place where I felt like I could find a community. And being in camp, there's just so many interesting people. Everyone has this unique outlook and expression, whether it's their personal style or their personality. And I love the MDs. They've made camp so accessible. Shout outs to Raul, Sophia T. They just have really been welcoming, not only for all the new people. When we applaud, when there's a new member of camp, I think that's something that's so precious and like welcoming that we do as a community. And I feel like anyone can find their place in camp. And I feel like that's hard to find, potentially, in a really large school.
For sure.
And outside of camp and, you know, jazz as a genre, what are your interests and hobbies and passions?
So I am also a large nerd on the outside of camp. I'm part of the e-board of the Magic the Gathering Club here on campus, which is really fun. I've been playing board games and this card game I played Magic since I was in middle school. So it's been a long time. It's a kind of trading card game where you play and you battle your opponent and fight them with monsters and spells and bring them from 20 or 40 life to 0. And it's another great form of community because I get to go talk to people about cards. And I recently have kind of been able to mesh camp and the Magic Club by starting a little weekly podcast.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and so we sit down for an hour, and believe it or not, we have to cut ourselves off. We have so much to talk about, and it's so fun, and it's so no one who doesn't know Magic will care at all about this or
Right.
listen to it at all, because it's just means
Super niche,
nothing.
yeah.
It's so niche. But for my friends who like the game and my friends who are in the club, it's good content.
Super impactful, yes.
Yeah.
And let's see. Magic the Gathering Club. Any other extracurriculars that you're involved with?
I've also what else have I started doing? Oh my goodness. I've been slowly trying to take up learning the bass, as well as I've been trying to put together slowly over time like a good camping kit. So that means I got a little charcoal grill I was over at Fry's,
I love that.
and you know when like grocery stores on the top of the freezer section, they have like random things up there.
Yep.
So they had this grill, and it was $40, down from $70.
That's a
And
good deal.
you know I like a deal. So I was like, this kind of looks great. This is kind of all I'm looking for. Because I want to be able to take a grill, so I got a grill. So went to the guy, I was like, hey, can I get that grill over there? And he was like, yeah, and he lifted it down, he dropped it on the ground.
Insanity.
Which was great. And I've also been scrounging through Facebook Marketplace. Oh my God, can I tell you?
Let us hear this.
I love Facebook Marketplace. I've been finding so many good things. I've found sleeping bags. I've found, I got a great chair. REI chair, $80.
Oh my God.
$15. It's got wood on the side, it folds up, it clips up.
That's insane.
It's a find. You can find anything you need.
Do you think it's like modern day thrifting? Services like that, Craigslist, Mercari?
It's the average person's thrifting. Because thrifting still exists. But it's so much easier to be like 12 o'clock at night, you're like, I'm falling asleep, but I'm kind of curious what's on Facebook Marketplace. And you start scrolling. And you go through the categories. You go through, you look through the musical instruments. You find stuff cool there. I found a cajon, which is one of those, the boxes with the hole on it and the snare on the
Yes.
inside that's like a drum. which I've been thinking about getting because it has a scratch, so he was selling it for discount. Because that's a great camping instrument. That's great for getting outside. It's just kind of trying to disconnect myself. I've also been getting into just cooking at home.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about it. That's what I like to hear. But I've started really cooking stuff. This last week I made pasta from scratch, which was
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's so much easier than you think. It is flour and it is egg.
Yes.
And that's all you need. And you just
knead it.
You push into it for like maybe 10 minutes. You got it ready.
Get your little you pop it in the fridge.
Put it in the fridge for half an hour. You bring out the little pasta maker. You
crank it.
You put it. Clamp it to the table and you start grinding.
Did you do like fettuccine, like long noodles? What was the vibe?
So they were both kind of. We did two different sizes of noodles. We did very thin, kind of like almost spaghetti-like noodles, and we did kind of thicker, a little bit wider noodles. And so the first time I made a carbonara, and we fried pancetta, and it was so good. It was so cheesy. We got the Parmesan from Whole Foods, so it was good. And we cooked that. And then the second time, I made my own sauce from scratch. I just took some Parmesan, some ricotta, I think. It was a different white hard cheese, and some heavy cream.
Pecorino Romano.
Romano, yeah, there we go. Mm-hmm. So we took Romano and mozzarella, and I took some of each, threw it together with some heavy cream with these thick noodles and some chicken, and oh my god, that's so good. What else have I been making? Curry. Curry is... I've been doing...
Let's get specific. Indian curry, Japanese
curry.
Oh my god, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
My mother, half Japanese. I grew up eating Japanese curry like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Like a little potato, a little onion, chicken. So good. Better rice.
Let me turn you on to something.
Katsu.
You know what's like katsu?
What?
Dino nuggies. They go crazy.
With the... Oh my god, I can picture it.
You can picture it now.
I can picture it.
They're crazy. It's the perfect size. It coats it perfectly. It's the perfect tasting. It's like chicken katsu. It's
oh my god, I love that.
Right? It's so good. I love it. I put in the potatoes, I put in onions, sometimes carrots, and then the dino nuggies, and it goes so hard. And it's so easy because you go to the grocery store and you get those the curry square, the cubes, and you toss them in.
So simple.
It's so simple, and you would think the meal took like 3 hours to make, and you're just sitting there with the dino nuggies and potatoes, and you're like this last, and it microwaves so well.
It does. It does. Reheat.
You would not expect it to.
Next day curry, restaurant level. Seriously. No, the thing is, coming from a family that's like very heavy on cooking, making our own food, making our own meals, my family wants listeners to know that cooking Japanese and cooking Italian is so simple. People go out to the restaurants thinking that it's really difficult to make, that it's not that accessible. It is so simple to make solid Japanese and Italian meals. Honestly, any cooking. As long as you put passion, love, care, it's doable.
It's really just finding... The hard part is finding the right recipe that doesn't complicate everything. Because that's the issue I have with so many recipes when I go online. It'll be like 20 ingredient recipes for something so simple. And yeah, that'll taste really good.
It tastes great.
But
however,
I am a college student on a budget. I need to get the 5 ingredient version. The version that I don't have to spend 3 hours preparing, so I can get a simple dinner that tastes really good.
Exactly. No, living in a dorm, I cannot wait to have my own space because the community kitchen is not the vibe. Especially when people are so inconsiderate, they leave it a mess. I'm like, I cannot do this. But I have been cooking more, and it's like very exciting to hear people are getting into it because making your own food, something about it, it just feels special. It feels different. I think knowing that you prepared it for yourself, and then when you finally taste your like creation, the hard work, the effort you put in, nothing compares. Yeah. Nothing compares. What is your favorite thing to cook then, since you've been getting into it?
So, I mean, I kind of hit on my favorites already. The pasta has been incredible. I've been so happy with the pasta. I kind of I've joked in the past about how grilling is like kind of funny. It's like the men just want to grill. It makes food taste better.
The grill texture,
the grill flavor. Oh my god, what? And it's so easy. for no reason. It's like why is this just taste good? And it's such an issue to me. It's like I spend all this time cooking like nice food, and then I pull out the little charcoal grill that I have. I put a burger on there. I put some cheese on there, and that's all I do, and it tastes amazing. And I'm like, damn, it's really not that hard.
Made by you, for you, with love.
Yeah.
We love that. So have you gotten into camping pretty recently, or have you always been like an outdoorsy person?
So, I haven't always been like super outdoorsy, as in like I'm always going outside, but camping has always been something I look forward to. And going outside and enjoying nature has been something that I look forward to. I think the real break for me was back right before, it was like mid-COVID. Me and 3 or 4 buddies, we went backpacking into the Sierra Nevadas, and we did it. It was just like the 4 or 5 of us, and we just were no service, up by these lakes, just walking around and enjoying it. And I was like, this is ideal. This is all
Being one with nature?
it's not even, it's just being with people you like and enjoying a space where that's the only thing to do. We're not there to get distracted, and it's just, you have no commitments. Because I'm so easily torn by, I need to go do this thing. Because I'm a very big, like, there's so many things I want to do in a day.
Exactly.
And when that gets stripped away from me, and I don't have the agency to be able to choose what I have to do, and I have to be committed to the things that I brought with me and the plans that we set forth, and it's only a few things, that's amazing.
No, I completely agree. I'm not really the biggest outdoorsy person, as I mentioned, but I'm really looking forward to this trip as a way to really get in touch with my inner peace, my inner nature, and again, the camaraderie of camp, I feel like, is going to make it a better environment than if it was just like me backpacking it alone. Not the vibe. But I will say, if you're interested in camping, be it a solo trip or a group trip, the desert, the Southwest, is one of the best places that you can do that. If you haven't already, the Ghost Valley, beautiful place to go camping. The sky, as you may know, Tucson has one of the best vantages of the stars in the entire nation. Our astronomy program at the U of A is one of the best in the entire nation because in Tucson you have a completely unobstructed view of the stars. From Death Valley, you can see the Milky Way galaxy, unobstructed, naked eye.
I think that's going to be the other part you're going to really enjoy about camping. It's so like that. It's at night you just sit there with the fire, and all you got is the people around the fire. You struggling to go find more wood because no one ever brings enough wood, and just kind of looking up and being like, wow, this is just easy.
I know, especially when things get so complex. It's just, I feel like, important to remind ourselves that we're just insignificant specks in a massive cosmos. Our problems are not that great. They're not that important in the long run. Actually, a technique that I've used sort of for coping, I ask myself, is this issue or is this problem going to be bothering me in 1 month, in 6 months, in a year? And if the answer is no, I'm like, I'm not going to let this cloud my mental space. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Do you have any like coping techniques for when things get overwhelming or you have persistent issues or challenges?
I think the best thing you can always do if you're really frustrated about something is just try to get away from it for a bit. However you do that is up to you. I personally like going on a walk, maybe going to a restaurant and just kind of sitting alone, eating some food, and just go to one of your comfort restaurants and just sit there for a bit. Food solves a lot of problems, and it helps you just break yourself away. And leave your phone at home. Just go and be there. Maybe bring some music or maybe bring a book. That's all you need. Exactly.
I would also say a lot of people don't want to do the going out to eat solo, being alone with your food. But I feel like it's essential.
I say you gotta give it a shot.
Exactly.
It can feel a little embarrassing at first until you realize it's just kind of liberating to just go out to eat by yourself and just sit there. Like sit in a sit-down restaurant and enjoy your food without any pressure of anyone else, like any pressure
Social
conversation.
Expectations, exactly.
You're just enjoying, you're there.